What is going on, guys? The 2020 NFL offseason has been downright insane. All these future Hall of Famers switching teams via trades and in free agency. Like, what? When have we ever experienced so many jaw-dropping transactions in one offseason? The most hectic part is done with, for now, so it's a good time to hand out our report cards for the 10 biggest trades that took place in the 2020 offseason. Number 10. Jaguars send A.J. Bouye to Broncos. If the Jacksonville Jaguars are planning to tank for Trevor Lawrence, they're certainly off to a great start. GM David Caldwell broke up the remaining pieces of the Jacksonville defense by moving on from Marcel Darius, A.J. Bouye, and Calais Campbell. The Jaguars dealt Bouye to the Broncos for nothing more than a 4th-round draft pick. The deal made sense for both sides. Jacksonville acquires an extra pick while clearing out some much-needed cap room during a rebuild, having already dealt fellow Pro Bowl corner Jalen Ramsey to the Los Angeles Rams. It only made sense for the Jaguars to break up the entire band while they were at it. Bouye is under contract for 2 more years. The 2017 Pro Bowler and second-team All-Pro should be a nice fit in Vic Fangio's defense. He and 2019 breakout star Justin Simmons should help Denver's secondary reach new levels in 2020. For the Jaguars, we're going to give them a B- grade. It doesn't make sense to keep a pricey veteran around when you're essentially tanking. A 4th-round pick is pretty good for a guy who had a disappointing 58.4 grade from Pro Football Focus in 2019. But the Broncos were the clear winners here. We're giving them a B+. Bouye will fill the void left by longtime Bronco Chris Harris Jr., who left for the rival Los Angeles Chargers in free agency. Bouye should regain his top-notch form under a defensive-minded head coach in Fangio. The Broncos had one of the best off-seasons of 2020, adding Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler in the draft to help young quarterback Drew Lock. Their defense should take off too. Adding Bouye helps the Broncos push for a playoff spot in 2020. So with the recap, Jaguars B-, Broncos B+. Number 9. Texans land Brandin Cooks from Rams. The cap-strapped Los Angeles Rams dumped 2017 Offensive Player of the Year and Pro Bowl running back Todd Gurley before dealing away standout wide receiver Brandin Cooks to the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien acquired Cooks and a 4th-rounder in exchange for their 2020 second-round selection. He signed through the 2023 season. The Rams really had no choice but to move on from Cooks, just 1 year after he helped them reach Super Bowl 53. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp were more effective, and their contracts don't exactly hurt the Rams' cap situation. Cooks, a 4-time 1,000-yard receiver, dealt with severe concussion woes during the 2019 season. He caught just 42 passes for 583 yards and 2 touchdowns in what was a mightily disappointing season for LA. For the Rams, we're giving them a D grade. Why? Even after trading Cooks, they're still on a $21.8 million dead cap hit. In case you were wondering, that's the largest single-season dead cap hit ever. A 2nd-round pick is a nice return, but they were better off keeping Cooks for the time being. It's not like GM Les Snead was able to do much in free agency anyway. This team is definitely worse without Cooks. The Texans got a C+ grade from us. The 2nd-round pick was a lot, but O'Brien is still landing a 1,000-yard receiver and big-time deep threat in the midst of his prime. And Cooks will make up for some of the production they lost when they dealt DeAndre Hopkins. Cooks, Randall Cobb, and Will Fuller are a very nice 3-headed monster at receiver for Deshaun Watson. So with the recap, Rams D, Texans C+. Number 8, Darius Slay heads to Philly. Detroit Lions head coach Matt Patricia burned all bridges with his best defensive player. Sounds like something a Detroit Lions coach would do. After several insulting remarks from Patricia, Slay finally received the well-deserved fresh start. He was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for 3rd and 5th-round draft selections. Slay then signed a 3-year extension worth $50 million with his new team. Slay earned Pro Bowl selections in each of his last 3 years. He's one of the game's elite ball hawkers, with 13 interceptions and 56 passes defended over the past 3 seasons. For the Eagles, we're giving them an A. It's the perfect win-now move from Howie Roseman. The secondary has been Philly's weak link over the last 2 years, and it's been a while since they had a shutdown corner of Slay's caliber. He'll solidify a secondary that's supported by one of the NFL's top pass rushing units. The Lions get a B here. Patricia shouldn't have a job if he keeps treating players like this. Flat out embarrassing. But the Lions are in a bit of a rebuild here. Getting 2 extra draft picks certainly helps. And they found an even better corner in Jeffrey Okudah with a 3rd overall selection. So with the recap, Eagles A, Lions B. Number 7, Jaguars dump Nick Foles to Chicago. Last offseason, the Jaguars Jaguars signed Super Bowl 52 MVP and champion Nick Foles to a 4-year deal worth $88 million. A broken collarbone sidelined him for most of the 2019 season, however. And Foles' poor play allowed rookie Gardner Minshew to take over as the starter. Foles' seemingly untradeable contract wound up getting, well, traded. He was sent to the Chicago Bears for a 4th-round pick. Win-win for both sides. The Bears also reconstructed Foles' deal into something far more reasonable. A 3-year pact worth $24 million. Foles hasn't been able to do much outside of Philadelphia, but he'll be reunited with some familiar faces, including head coach Matt Nagy, who was the offensive coordinator from his Kansas City days, Bears and former Eagles offensive coordinator Bill Lazor, and quarterbacks coach John DeFilippo, who held that title for the Eagles when they won Super Bowl 52. The Bears get a B+ grade because they have to move on from Mitch Trubisky once and for all. Even if Foles isn't as effective, he only has to be a game manager and a heavy rushing offense that's supported by a championship caliber defense. Why shouldn't Foles be able to perform any differently with these guys? Jacksonville, meanwhile, gets an A- grade for somehow turning this horrible contract into a 4th-round pick. So that's a pretty big relief for Duval County. Alright, with the recap, Bears B+, Jaguars A-. Number 6, Calais Campbell joins Ravens flock. And when is the last time 3 big-name stars were all traded by one team in the same offseason? The Jaguars fire sale also featured 5-time Pro Bowl pass rusher and 2017 first-team All-Pro Calais Campbell. In a typical Baltimore Ravens move, they landed a big-name veteran star for a modest price. The acquisition of Campbell cost them nothing more for a 5th-round draft choice. Life isn't fair sometimes. Campbell joins a team that, well, already had perhaps the best defense in the league, plus reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson. The Ravens finished 3rd in scoring defense last season. They allowed the 4th fewest yards and the 5th fewest rushing yards. If there was a weak link in this defense, it was the pass rush. Don Martindale's unit finished 21st in sacks with 37, but Campbell's going to change all of that. He recorded at least 8 sacks in 3 of his last 4 years. He had 14.5 in the 2017 season alone. The Ravens were already one of the top teams to beat, adding a future Hall of Famer to complement a ferocious and scary secondary. For only a 5th-round pick, this move is an A++++, like 1,000 pluses. I'm not going to exaggerate that, but you know what I'm saying. For Eric DeCosta. Good job. As for the Jaguars, they get a C- from us. They got well below market value for Campbell. But when you're tanking for a top pick, you gotta move on from your high-priced veterans. That's the only reason they don't get a D or F from us. Trading Campbell might help them get Lawrence, so who can complain about that? For the recap, Ravens A+, Jaguars C-. Aw. Number 5, Gronk reunites with TB12 in Tampa. In one of the most shocking and unexpected offseason developments in recent memory. I mean, it's not that shocking, but you know what I'm saying. Rob Gronkowski ended a 1-year retirement and orchestrated a trade to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in the snap of a finger, the Pro Bowl tight end was reunited with Tom Brady. Gronk retired following New England's Super Bowl 53 championship season, having suffered so many serious injuries to the point where he was unable to sleep. That's nuts. I would retire too, to be honest. Gronk signed with the WWE in March 2020, and he even hosted WrestleMania 36 before deciding to return to the gridiron. Bill Belichick didn't want to hold Gronk hostage here. He was fine giving away the former fan favorite and 7th-rounder to Tampa Bay for a 4th-round pick. Now, Gronkowski was far from his dominant self in 2018, and Bruce Arians never uses his tight ends. But this is a low-risk move for the Bucs, who only have a 2-year window to win with Brady. At the very least, Gronk will make the big 3rd-down grabs that nobody in Foxborough could make for Brady last season, and he'll take some pressure off of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So let's give the Bucs an A grade here. The Patriots get a C+. A 4th-rounder for a guy that was never going to play for you again. I mean, why not? And Belichick drafted 2 tight ends anyway. We wouldn't be surprised if either guy was more productive than Gronk at this stage in his career. With the recap, Buccaneers A, Patriots C+. Number 4, Trent Williams finally gets out of DC, heads to San Fran. The rich got richer, while the dysfunction got even more dysfunctional. 7-time Pro Bowler offensive tackle Trent Williams sat out the entire 2019 season due to a falling out with the Washington Redskins medical staff, who overlooked the severity of a cancerous growth on his head. Because it's the Redskins, they decided to keep Williams on the roster during 2019 instead of scoring a premium return for the future Hall of Famer. Congrats, Dan Snyder. Finally, Williams was traded to the 49ers on the final day of the draft for the San Fran's 2020 5th-rounder and a 2021 3rd-rounder. It's an A+ for the 49ers, who managed to replace the retired Joe Staley at well below market value. The O-line won't miss a beat with Williams in the fold. The Redskins get a D+, simply because they botched this situation. They could have easily gotten a first rounder, and likely more, had they just moved on from Williams last season, but their stubbornness burned them again. Who would have thought? At least a third rounder is a decent return for a guy that was never going to suit up for you again. With the recap, 49ers A+, Redskins D+. Honestly, I would give them an F, but it's not what the script says. Number 3, Bills acquire Stefon Diggs from Vikings. The Buffalo Bills finally got their man. The Minnesota Vikings moved on from disgruntled wide receiver Stefon Diggs, sending him and a 7th rounder to Buffalo in exchange for the Bills' 2020 1st, 5th, and 6th rounders, plus a 2021 4th rounder. The Bills made the playoffs in 2019 despite a lackluster passing offense. John Brown was the only receiver to cross the 800-yard mark, but he isn't exactly a number 1 receiver. That role will be fulfilled by Diggs, while Brown slots down to a more suitable number 2 role. We're giving the Bills an A- grade here. With Tom Brady gone, this was the Bills' chance to go all in. Diggs has recorded back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He surpassed the 700-yard mark in each of his first 5 seasons. Now Josh Allen has Diggs, Brown, Cole Beasley, and Devin Singletary. If all goes accordingly, the Bills will emerge as the new team to beat in the AFC East in 2020. The Vikings get an A+, because that was an excellent return for a disgruntled player who has seemingly wanted out for a while now. And they even found Diggs' replacement in LSU wideout Justin Jefferson at number 22 overall. That's the pick Minnesota got from Buffalo. Pretty good savvy work from Rick Spielman. So with the recap, Bills A-, Vikings A+. Everybody's happy. Number 2, Colts land DeForest Buckner from 49ers. The 49ers boast the NFL's best pass rush, and rising star DeForest Buckner became expendable after John Lynch chose to extend Eric Armstead. Buckner was traded to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for the number 13 pick in the 2020 draft. Lynch then traded down 1 spot via the Buccaneers and used the number 14 selection on South Carolina defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw. There's your cheaper and younger replacement for Buckner. The 49ers pass rush shouldn't miss a beat, and they were able to snag Arizona wideout Brandin Ayuk in the 25th spot. They're locked and loaded for the long run here. Give him an A+. Kinlaw will replace Buckner and ensure that San Fran's pass rush remains one of the best in the league. The Colts get an A here. They didn't have any glaring needs. They didn't desperately need anybody in the first round. Buckner shores up an already stout front 7, led by veteran Justin Houston and superstar linebacker Darius Leonard. Buckner is just entering his prime, having tallied 19.5 total sacks over the last 2 years. He and Leonard might be the best young defensive duo in the league now. This could go down as one of the biggest win-win trades in NFL history. With the recap, 49ers A+, Colts A. Everybody's happy. Number 1, D-Hop joins the Cardinals. I do not get tired talking about this one. You know DeAndre Hopkins. He's only like a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. He's still in his prime. He is a complete difference maker that can take you to a Super Bowl. One guy, that's how good he is. So it made 0 sense when Texans head coach and de facto GM Bill O'Brien decided to trade D-Hop and a 2020 4th rounder to the Arizona Cardinals for David Johnson's terrible contract, a 2020 2nd rounder, and a 2021 4th rounder. I don't even know what to say. I literally, it says I'm supposed to go yikes, but like I don't even think that does it justice. What? What are you doing? Come on. Like there are so many other things you could have done than that. But you did that. Okay. O'Brien and Hopkins' relationship quickly soured behind the scenes, with Bill refusing to give D-Hop a new contract. After getting robbed in the Jadeveon Clowney trade with Seattle, O'Brien allowed the Cardinals to pull off a big-time heist. You couldn't even get a first rounder? What? And you're taking on what was deemed as an untradeable running back contract. At least O'Brien secured Cobbs and Cooks to somewhat replace Hopkins, but still, you don't trade a franchise star for below market value. It's a D- for Houston. Honestly, you know what? I'm giving him an F. Sorry. I'm changing the script because it's that bad. Honestly, it's not even bad. It's just stupid. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, God, sometimes you just don't get it. Sometimes you think they just do it to piss people off and get them to talk or something for the clout. I don't even know. I don't even know what are you doing? Okay, sorry, rambling. Arizona, yeah, obviously, easy A+, clearly. Like, what else would it be? This world-class wideout will help the growth of the 2019 first overall pick, Kyler Murray, who already had future Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald plus Christian Kirk, Hakeem Butler, and Kenyon Drake at his side. The Cardinals, simply put, are ready to push for the playoffs. This is the move that could really get them over the hump and win a Super Bowl, believe it or not. So, with the recap, Texans, F. Cardinals, A+. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna give them an F-. Is that possible? Is that a real thing? I don't know, but I'm doing it, so whatever. How would you grade some of the NFL's biggest 2020 offseason trades so far? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are on everything. Go subscribe, go follow, go do all that. You will love the content we have. Good memes for TPS, good videos from me. It's a good deal. Of course, subscribe to TPS as well. And if you like this video, give it a like down below. It takes one click. That's all you gotta do. Just one click right down. It really helps us out. It would help me out because, yeah, I kind of wish that you would just like this video. I don't know who wouldn't like it, but I guess you must be a Houston Texans fan or something. I don't know. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. See you next time.
My knee.